Welcome back to RevZolutions. Today, in the beautiful sunshine in Southampton, I'm going to be reviewing the Honda VFR800F. This is a 2020 edition. I've taken it out today from Crescent Honda over in Southampton. Fantastic bunch of people down there. If you're looking for a new bike, second-hand bike, pop down, have a chat with the sales team, spot on. This is a sports touring motorcycle. It's got, on this one, it's got the pillion cover, which is this nice red gloss cover. You can replace that and put a pillion seat on there. You do have the foot pegs that you can also use for your pillions. This is a fantastic model. It's got a quick shifter up, not down. It's also got heated grips. It's got your electric start on the side, your kill switch. You've also got your traction control. You can turn your traction control on and off. It's got ABS, it's got your horn, it's got everything you would find on a normal motorcycle. So basics done. Let's go into a little bit of statistics for this bike. Now when it comes to the engine, this is a V4 4-cylinder engine. It's really smooth. There was no issues. I wrote it down here only for about 10-15 minutes, but coming down here there was no problem at all. I found it a nice smooth engine, quite torquey. It really did feel like it pulled nicely. Now this version of the VFR800F comes with 104 brake horsepower, and that's at 10,250 RPM. There's 75 Newton meters of torque, and like I was just saying, you really can feel the torque pulling this bike nicely. It's not aggressive, it's just, it will pull it and it will get up to speed quite comfortably. There's no issues with regards to the speed and getting there. For an 800cc motorbike, it's absolutely perfect. Now when it comes to the gearbox, this is a 6-speed manual gearbox. It's chain driven, not shaft or belt driven. It's a very smooth gearbox. Like I was saying, you've got your quick shifter up, not down. The clutch is very light. When you pull the clutch in, there's no issues with that. It has actually got an adjustable clutch lever, which is very handy because a lot of motorcycles don't do that. They just have a standard position for your clutch. That is a nice little added extra. Now the tyre sizes on this bike, I am going to read them straight from the Honda website. I've only just picked this bike up, so I'm still brushing up on all my knowledge for the Hondas. So the front wheel, you've got a 120 by 70, and it's a 17-inch rim on that one. Now the rear wheel, it's a 180 55, and again 17-inch rim. This bike comes with Dunlop tyres that Honda have put on the bike. Now the braking system on this bike, you've got a double disc at the front, a rear single disc, and you've also got 3 pot piston calipers on both front and back. It's a combined braking system. My knowledge of that, I believe, is when you pull the front brake, it will also apply a little bit of rear brake. Likewise, if you apply the rear brake, it will also apply a little bit of front brake as well, so you get the nice balance. There is ABS system on this bike, which is a nice safety feature. Now the weight of this bike comes in at 242 kilograms. That's quite a heavy bike. I'm used to riding a 190 kilogram bike. However, when you actually get this bike up off the side stand, you don't actually feel the weight. It's quite comfortable on the weight displacement for it. So yeah, even though it is deemed a heavy bike, it really doesn't feel that. If you struggle with heavy bikes, I don't think you'd have an issue with this one whatsoever. There are 2 seat heights available for this bike. You've got a 789mm and an 809mm seat height on this one. Now I'm 5'7", so when I stand up against this bike, it's quite a low seat height for me. When I sit on it and take it off the side stand, I'm just on the balls of my feet, which is again very comfortable for stopping in traffic. Now there's a nice ground clearance on this bike. It's 126mm, so you shouldn't have any issues taking it, I wouldn't say off-road, but you'd be able to get up and down a few little curbs and things quite comfortably without bottoming out. Now what I'm going to do is just do a little walk around of this bike from my own personal perspective, what I like and what I don't quite like about the styling. So what we're going to do is we're going to start from the front of the bike. You've got some nice LED headlights. It's quite an angry angled style on this one. You've got a bit of a cross as well, which looks really smart on the front of the bike. This windscreen, it's not adjustable, which it would be nice to have the ability to adjust it if you do want to lift it up a little bit for the long distance tourers. However, it does look quite nice, and I'm sure you can get like a black one. This is a clear one. The indicators, you've got 2 LED, I think they're LEDs. There might be bulbs actually. I think you've got LEDs on the end and bulbs in the middle. They are very, very bright as well. The mirrors, you can actually adjust the glass on this without moving the arm, so that's really handy. If you do need to move the arms inwards, you can do so without actually adjusting your mirror, which is another nice feature from Honda. The brakes, you've got 2 discs at the front, 1 disc at the rear, very good stopping power. And when it comes to the front of the bike, also you've got the red wheel hugger and you've got the reflectors down the side. I personally don't like the look of the reflectors, however it's a safety feature which it has to have. Then when it comes to the front brakes, you've got the Tokico front brakes. They are, like I said, they're really good brakes. I'm used to the Brembo fronts and I really can't tell a difference at the moment, to be honest with you. Going down side, we've got a nice VFR logo down here, which I think as well sets the bike off really nicely. It's nice stretched out and it does look quite smart and expensive. The levers, they're okay. They're standard silver levers like most bikes have. They are adjustable on the clutch and the brake, which again is a really nice feature if you do want to make it a lot easier for your reach. You got the chassis number down the side, nice black frame trellis going down, which is again a nice little feature. You got the almost goldy bronze looking engine cover. You've got your standard can exhaust on the side. This is quite an ugly exhaust, let's face it, but I think if you are going to buy this bike and have it long term, you're not going to be keeping that exhaust. You are going to be changing it for something you do like, and that will look quite stylish on the bike as well. Got your fuel cap in the middle, standard fuel cap. This Honda comes with a nice tank protector, colour coded pillion seat cover. Moving to the rear of the bike, you got your tail tidy, which has your key in it as well. Now what I'm going to do is just take the key out and have a look underneath this seat. So the key goes in nice and easy there. See how this pops off. So that comes off really well, and there is a lot of space under this seat, a lot of space. So you could, and there's quite a nice gap there as well, so you could potentially put quite a lot of equipment for touring, bottles, gloves, scarves, anything under there, and it would hold it quite well. So putting the seat back on, you just tilt it forward, slide it under the catch at the front, he says, line up the rear bit, turn the key, push it in, locks, nice and easy, job done. I do like that. Right, so what we're going to do is take this bike out for a test ride and give you my first impressions.
So, the Honda VFR800F. Let's take it for a little spin. Now, like I was just saying, this bike has got a quick shifter up, but no quick shifter down. And I'll tell you what, if you've never ridden with a quick shifter, it is really, really nice. Such an experience. And you probably hear I'm quite out of breath at the moment. It is hot. Stifling in all this motorcycle gear. It's not a day to be riding motorbikes and filming, but the things we do for YouTube, eh? So, first impressions of this bike, it is stupidly comfortable. I mean, I'm just sat slightly forward and it's not causing me any discomfort at all. It's very, very comfortable. Apparently this bike has got self-cancelling indicators. I haven't managed to get it to work yet, so I'll keep cancelling them myself, but I'm sure it does work. So I've taken this bike, like I said, out from Crescent Honda, so I thought I'd stay around the Southampton area, have a little look, see what's going on. It's a beautiful day, perfect. Like I say, it's a bit hot, but it's a perfect day to test ride a bike. Now, it's got heated grips. Let's put the heated grips on. Okay, so when you put the heated grips on, it actually activates an LED on the heated grip button itself, which is just next to your left thumb. I'm sure at some point I will want to turn this off. And it also shows you on the dashboard to the right hand side, next to the clock, that you've got your heated grips on. So this model starts at £9,999 on the road from Honda. There are obviously optional extras you can buy. You can get a pannier set up. I believe the panniers for all three panniers are about £4,000 from Honda, which is quite steep. However, let's face it, these bikes look absolutely mint when you've got all three panniers on. So that would be something to consider buying. I can't imagine it pushes the price up that much per month, but either way, it just sets off that touring stuff. Oh wow, these heat grips are really hot. So you've got 5 levels of heated grips on this, and I had that on level 2, and that was hot. Actually, do I go through that way or do I go through this way? Because that looks quite... I'm going to go this way because that doesn't look like it gives me much room to get through. Pull back in. Look at that waterfront. Absolutely beautiful, lovely calm day out on Southampton water. Like I was saying in the walk around, the torque on this bike is, you can really feel it pulling. Now this has Honda's VTEC engine system, like the cars have had for a long time. It reduces the, I think it's the amount of valves running at any one point. Let's go right here. Let's get out of handball. Sorry, Netley. The good thing about being on the motorbike is I can filter through traffic. However, when there's a traffic queue like this, I can't go anywhere. The display is really easy to see on this bike. Got a nice fuel gauge on the left, which is always handy. My bike at the moment, the GSX-R, doesn't have a single fuel gauge, which is so frustrating. Got to reset my miles every time I fill up, but this one tells you what you got, which is always nice. The seat is very comfy. Don't seem to have any dramas with the seat comfiness. It's very pleasant. I've only ridden this bike probably for a total at the moment of about 20 minutes, and could I take this bike on a long ride? I think I could. It is a very comfortable seating position. You are leaning forward ever so slightly. You're not bolt upright, but it's not uncomfortable. I'm not laying on the tank like a sports bike. And the engine does have a good grunt. It really sounds like a V4. It sounds cracking. Absolutely brilliant. Now it's a nice touch having the analog rev counter. That is always welcomed. I don't mind digital ones. My very first bike, the KTM RC125, that had a digital rev counter. Oh yeah, that feels good. That pulls. Yeah, that had a digital rev counter, and it was okay. It was fine. You just get used to it. It is what it is. But I think when it comes to glancing down quickly, seeing what your RPM is, it's nice just seeing a good old-fashioned needle. Now, I'm not one of these people who prefers old-fashioned stuff over new stuff. I'm all for modernisation. But every now and again, just keep an analogue. The windscreen offers really good protection. I'm only doing 37 miles an hour, but I don't seem to be getting any issues with regards to the wind. I really can't feel anything at all in my chest, which is absolutely fantastic for bimbling around town. Right, so we're doing 30 miles an hour and a 40. Let's pop past. There you go. That was effortless. Absolutely effortless with this bike. Now the VTEC, at the moment I haven't taken the revs high, so I can't tell you if there is a good VTEC kick in this, like you get in the Honda Civic Type R's. Those old school Honda Civic Type R's, they really did give you good VTEC kick. Now I did ride this bike, it wasn't this one, but it was the 2019 model back in November last year. Now if you're used to riding a sports bike like I am, and let's face it, a sports bike that doesn't want to hang around, when you accelerate on that and you get over 7,000 RPM, you really feel the bike turn into a different machine altogether. It just suddenly pulls and pulls and you get all this extra power. Now with the Honda VTEC on this one, it didn't feel impressive. People say you've got to hold on for that VTEC. In the early generations they may have been different to the setup of this. Perhaps this one's a lot smoother, but yeah, it was quite a disappointment, if I'm honest. I didn't find the VTEC kick anything to write home about. I do love that engine noise though. I think if you change this exhaust, put a meter exhaust on, not something that's ridiculous, something that just gives a nice little burble, that coupled up with the engine noise, oh, that'd be a good sounding bike. Although one thing I have noticed is the accelerator is quite snatchy. I think that might be to do with the play in the throttle, because there is a slight bit of throttle play. So I think it might be me that's snatching the throttle on this rather than the actual design of the bike. I think the throttle might just need tightening up. Yeah, that's quite a lot of throttle play. Oh, I love that quick shifter though. Right, national speed limit. That is quite comfortable. It gets up to the speed nice and quick. It's not going to set the world on fire, don't get me wrong. However, that's power that I could live with all day, every day, and not get bored. The handling, let's pull over here. Yep, waiting, thank you. The handling of this bike is really, really good. It feels almost like a sports bike. It really does. It's got some nice manoeuvrability. It really flicks itself over. Now it also has traction control, which you can turn off. There's just a button here next to your headlights, which allows you just hold it for a few seconds and it turns your traction control off, which is why you'd want that turned off, I don't know, but it's a nice feature there if you do want it turned off. You got your pass light just next to your left index finger. On your left as well, you got your horn and your headlight, high beam, low beam. On the right side, you've got your hazard warning light, your electric engine start, and your kill switch. So it's a nice very simple setup on this bike. So for ride height, like I was saying, I'm 5'7", and this is a really, I'm flat-footed at the moment. I'm at traffic lights, flat-footed, no problem. If I put both feet down, I'm on the balls of my feet, which is fine. But one foot, completely flat-footed. So that's always nice to know. If I do need to put the foot down in an emergency, I can. Still indicating, turns itself off. That is quite smart. I like that. Just these little things that make such a difference when you ride a bike every day like I do. I've got no aches, no pains, no shoulder strain, nothing at all. This is really nice to ride. It's a pleasurable experience, let's call it that. So I had some issues with the Insta360. It didn't want to record for some reason. It keeps doing this, even though it is a fantastic camera. You have to have like a really good SD card. If you don't, it just errors and it records, but then it doesn't actually give you any footage, which is bizarre. The seat on the VFR800F is ridiculously comfortable. It's not hard, it's not so soft that you're sitting on the chassis of the vehicle. It's a good, firm but comfortable seat. Tick in the box, Honda. The wing mirrors, they're perfect. Best wing mirrors I've ever had on a motorbike. There's plenty of visibility. I don't have to bring your elbows in all the time to have a look behind. You can see really, really well. So again, another tick in the box there, Honda, for what? Visibility. Now, when I have tried to get the VTEC to, well, the VTEC kicks in anyway, but when I've tried to feel for the VTEC, I haven't felt the VTEC at all. Now that could be a good thing if you look at it in a positive light, because it means that the engine, the power delivery is really, really smooth. There's no jolting, no pulling backwards. So I think where people have said before that you can feel the VTEC kick in, that's got to be on the older generations, because the new generation, you definitely don't feel it. It is smooth, and the power delivery is, well, it feels just like a normal engine. It doesn't feel like it's got some witchcraft working its magic. So again, I'll say that's another good tick in the box. Smooth power delivery, Honda. The leg position on this bike is very, very good. It's very comfortable. I don't have any issues. I've been on this bike about an hour now, and I don't feel like I'm having to stretch, desperately wanting to get off the bike. I just feel like I want to ride it more and more, to be honest. So the seating position is on point. The display's nice and easy to read. I'm not having any problems with that. Beautiful sunny day, a lot of glare coming down, but it's not obscuring my view of what I'm trying to achieve. Right, here we go. National speed limit. Absolutely. I can hear the VTEC kicking in, but ever so slightly, but I can't feel it. Now when it comes to actually riding this bike at national speed limits, you can lean into it and you really can move this bike about like a sports bike. It's comfortable. You just lean forward, pop the bum back slightly, and it feels very comfortable. And we're slowing down again because it looks like we've got people in the national doing the good old 40-mile-an-hour speed limit. Figure that out. Yep, there we go. Braking in a 60 to try and keep your speed at 40. Braking round the corner, going up a hill. 35 miles an hour in a 60. Let's have a little. So she's got enough power to get past people. This bike is just effortless to ride. I really am impressed. Good road position there, have a look around the corner, bring it back to the near side, and slow down for the 40. There we go. So, national speed limit. What do I think with this bike? Yeah, it's good. It's good. It transforms. Nice slow riding machine, and then boom, you're up to your national speed limit. It's handling really well. If anything, it feels almost too light on the road. It feels like you don't have, how would I put it, don't have enough weight in the bike when you're moving about. It feels like you're very, very loose on the bike. Not in a bad way, in a good way. So if you've liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate everyone's feedback. Drop me a comment in the comment section below, and please give me a subscribe. Click on that subscription button. It really helps.